So, in my discussion for this class, I chose to talk about religion and politics in the American Revolution. And I started by looking at the article by Patricia Bonomi, Hippocrates Twins, Religion and Politics in the American Revolution. And I thought it was interesting because in it, she talked about how the language of liberty during the revolution was shaped by legal and socio-political concepts that were rooted primarily in religion. Um, However, here's the thing: a lot of people don't actually think like this. Don't believe that the American Revolution is rooted here in religion and politics. It's kind of, there's a difference. Some people believe that the revolution was rooted in religion, but others use it as sort of a justification for the cause and for the fighting. Um, you know, some say it was uh, that resisting the tyranny of Britain was a Christian duty, while others say, hey, you know, we're fighting because, we should, and we're Christians, and, once we win this war, God will bless us. We're fighting, we're gonna win because God says it, this is our right. So in her article, she says that one of the things that historians have tended to resist the suggestion that Americans divided over the revolution along denominational lines because they can always point to individuals who don't fit the formula. But I think that's always the case when you're looking um, at historical ideas or theories or events. There's always people that don't fit the formula. Um, but according to her article, it says among the Anglicans, there were about 3/4 of Low Church Southerners who supported the revolution, whereas those loyal to Britain appear to have been disproportionately associated with more hierarchical Northern royalists. Um, and she said, she gave a quote that says, she said, perhaps we can say of the revolutionary America that what the first Earl of Clarendon said of England at the time of the Civil War. The ecclesiastical state and civil state are so interwoven together, and in truth so incorporated in each other, that like Hippocrates twins, they cannot but laugh and cry together. Now, another article I read by James P. Bird, that an article that was entitled "Was the American Revolution a Holy War?" He says that when the colonists declared their independence on July 4, 1776, religious conviction inspired them because they believed that their cause had divine support, and many of the patriots' ardor was both political and religious, and they believed that God had endorsed the secular cause of the war. So basically, what he's saying here is that the war itself was a secular war, but that the war was endorsed by God. And it wasn't religious in nature, but that they believed their cause was endorsed by God. He said George Washington believed so strongly in the religious case for patriotism that he even demanded chaplains for the Continental Army, and he appealed to the Continental Congress for higher pay for chaplains. And in another article that I read by Jonathan Den Hartog, which was actually a review of a couple of books called Review, Religion and Politics in the American Revolution and Beyond, it stated that there were quite a few ministers and other people who joined in the revolution um, as chaplains or uh, even fought in the Revolutionary War because they believed in the cause itself. Um, so it's kind of interesting. Bird also says that patriotic ministers did not shy away from biblical violence but embraced it, even its most graphic form. In one example, he says Israel Evans, who was a favorite chaplain of Washington, praised fallen patriots as martyrs for the cause of freedom and called on the remaining troops to finish the glorious work of liberty. Arise and lead on your brothers soldiers to dreadful deeds of death and slaughter until the ruthless hand of Britain shall no more disturb the peace of men. Um, so I think it's kind of interesting how he also says that scripture inspired morality but also fueled patriotism. So I think more of what I'm getting at is that not necessarily that the American Revolution was this holy war, but it inspired people within the revolution who are a part of the revolution. It wasn't sort of this um, basis for the revolution, but it was inspiration in some cases. Um, Hartog says that um, he has this review, and he says that um, this philosopher, Matthew Stewart, says that the religious roots for the revolution do not come from Christianity, but actually from radical deism, which is a belief in the existence of a supreme being, which is specifically a creator who does not intervene in the universe. Um, he also says that is offering a revisionist history that reframes the intellectual origins of the revolution as classical and enlightenment only. Um, he's seeking not to persuade the readers that it motivated the revolution, but that it gives influence to the revolutionaries. So, kind of like what I was saying um, that religion itself wasn't the cause of the revolution, but it influenced those revolutionaries. So I hope that gives you some idea of what I'm thinking in this particular um, discussion.